Oh, welcome back to MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic. In today's video, we are going to add the next 20 creature cards with mana values of 1 into our Momir Vig Cube. Thank you for choosing MTG Burgeoning for your Magic the Gathering content. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and consider becoming a subscriber. Doing so supports the channel and makes you eligible for our various subscriber rewards series. If you would like to support the channel further, then click the link to our Patreon page in the description below. There you can join our ongoing Pack Wars series as a 1-month supporter or ongoing member. Or try joining Pack Wars for free by commenting on every MTG Burgeoning video in a month. We strive to offer creative rewards through our various Patreon tiers. So if Pack Wars isn't for you, then something else will be. Links to our content and various subscriber rewards series can be found in the description below. Send us an email, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We are your channel for all things magic. Greetings and salutations to the MTGBC. You are the MTG Burgeoning community. Welcome back to another segment of our ongoing Momir Vig Cube series. If you are unfamiliar with the goals or purpose of the series, or just need a refresher, you can search in the description below for a link to MTG Burgeoning's introduction to the Momir Vig Cube. And while you're down there skulking around in this description, you can also click a link to Cube Cobra, where you can see the entire contents of the cube as it stands right now. So for today, we are going 20 more creatures with mana values of 1, and we're going to begin with Selfless Savior, a 1/1 dog that we can sacrifice to give another target creature indestructible until end of turn. That could cause some potential combat headaches for our opponents. Staying in mono white, we're going Serra Ascendant for creature number 2. It's a 1/1 lifelinker, and as long as we have 30 or more life, Serra Ascendant gets +5/+5 and has flying. Now in Momir Vig, each player begins the game with 24 life, so it's not unreasonable to think that we can trigger that +5/+5 and flying. If the stars align enough and you get enough lifelink on your side of the battlefield, hitting 30 life will feel like winning the lottery every day of the week and twice on Friday Night Magic. Creature number 3, we're going mono black this time, and it is Shadow Alley Denizen, a 1/1 vampire rogue. Whenever another black creature ETB is under our control, target creature gains Intimidate until end of turn. Intimidate meaning, of course, it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share colors with that creature. Now, of course, every creature that's summoned from the Momir Vig Cube is done so randomly, so we have no way of knowing if another black creature will ETB, triggering Shadow Alley Denizen's ability. But it's a nice ability to have because in a format like Momir Vig, where everything revolves around creatures and combat, any way to get protection or evasion is highly, highly valuable. Staying with mono black, we're going to go Shambling Goblin. It's a 1/1 zombie goblin, and when it dies, target creature in opponent control gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Much of what we said about Shadow Alley Denizen and the ability to give creatures evasion, we can say the same thing for Shambling Goblin. In a format like Momir Vig, without instant or sorcery spells to help with spot removal, any kind of removal stapled onto a creature is highly, highly valuable. Next up, reaching the 1/4 point of this video, it is Shannon Dryads. Shannon Dryads. There it is, old school. It's a 1/1 nymph with Forest Walk, meaning that if an opponent controls a forest, this Dryad is going to walk all over it. It's going to attack and cannot be blocked because of the presence of that forest. Creature number 6 in our first mono blue edition, we have Sidisi's Faithful. It's a 0/4 Naga wizard. It has the exploit mechanic. This means that when this creature ETBs, you may sacrifice a creature, and you can sacrifice Sidisi's Faithful to itself. And when Sidisi's Faithful exploits a creature, we return target creature to its owner's hand. This is very, very powerful because every creature that's summoned from the cube is a token copy of the creature, and when a token leaves the battlefield, it ceases to exist. So for the purposes of this format, Sidisi's Faithful reads, when Sidisi's Faithful exploits a creature, exile target creature, exile target creature. Then that's it, because it's not going to go to their hand, because once the token leaves the battlefield, the token ceases to exist. All right, Creature 7, our first colorless edition, we have Signal Pest. It's a 0/1 pest with the Battle Cry mechanic, meaning that whenever it attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Signal Pest cannot be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. So if there are no flyers or no reachers on an opponent's side of the battlefield, Signal Pest is going to be a pest. Next up, back to Mono Blue, we have Siren Storm Tamer, a 1/1 flying Siren Pirate Wizard. You can pay a blue mana and sacrifice this to do absolutely almost nothing, because, like I said, there are no instants or sorcery spells in Momir Vig. However, there are abilities, there are ETBs, there are activated abilities, there are triggered abilities, there are LTBs. So with a blue mana, you can pay that, you can sacrifice Siren Storm Tamer, and you can counter target ability that targets us or a creature we control. But you can only do so if you have blue mana, so make sure you have those basic islands in your basic land library. Next up, we're back to Mono Black, and this time it's Skittering Heartstopper, a 1/2 insect, pay a black mana, and it gains Death Touch until end of turn. But you can only do that if you actually have black mana, so make sure you have those swamps in your basic land library. Reaching the halfway point of this video with creature number 10, we're back to Mono White. It is Sky Marcher Aspirant, a 2/1 vampire soldier with the Ascend mechanic, meaning if you control 10 or more permanents, you will get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. And if you have the City's Blessing, then Sky Marcher Aspirant will have flying, so a 2/1 flyer for 1 white mana. Yes, it's going to take some time to reach the City's Blessing, but once you do, you will have a pesky evasive creature flying around our opponent's life total. All right, next up, creature number 11, we have Sky Watcher Adept. It begins as a 1/1, but it has the level up mechanic, which is a good mana sink for the mid to late game. For each 3 mana that you pay, of course only at a sorcery speed, you put a level up counter on this creature. 1 or 2 level up counters make Sky Watcher Adept a 2/2 flyer, and 3 or more will give it 4/2 and flying. All right, next creature we have is Skyway Sniper, a 1/2 elf archer with reach. We could pay 2 and a green mana, and it deals 1 damage to target creature with flying. But you can't do that without the green mana, so make sure you have those forests in your basic land library. And also, as a side note, that is a creature that can deal direct damage to creatures with flying. And in a format like Momir Vig, evasion rules supreme. So if you can get rid of the evasion by getting rid of the flying creatures, you just better make sure you've got that green mana to do so. Our next creature is our first multicolored edition in this video, and it is the Slippery Bogle. It's a 1/1 beast with hexproof, meaning no opponent is going to target it with any of its abilities, with any of their abilities. Another creature we've got here, Mono Blue. It is Slitherblade 1/2, and it can't be blocked. It's a Naga Rogue, and you cannot block it. Again, in a format like Momir Vig, unblockability and that evasion is going to be very, very valuable. As we reach the 3/4 mark of this video, we have creature number 15, our second multicolored edition. This time it is Slitherhead. It's a 1/1. It has the Scavenge mechanic, which is going to be completely useless in the format of Momir Vig, because when this creature dies, it gets exiled because it is a token copy, and when a token leaves the battlefield, it ceases to exist. There are very, very few multicolored 1-drops in the history of Magic, and once Wizards creates more, creatures like Slitherhead will most likely get replaced by better versions of themselves. All right, creature number 16 in our first mono red edition, we have Slumbering Dragon, a 3/3 flying dragon that can't attack or block unless it has 5 or more +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever a creature attacks us, it also says Planeswalker, but there are no Planeswalkers in Momir Vig. So for the purposes of this video, whenever a creature attacks us, we put a +1/+1 counter on Slumbering Dragon. I cannot imagine a bigger deterrent to early or mid-game combat than being fortunate enough to summon a copy of Slumbering Dragon to your side of the battlefield. If we are attacked by 5 creatures over any number of turns, we then get to attack with at least an 8/8 flying dragon that we only invested 1 mana into. And I gotta be honest with you folks, that's something that we're going to take every single day of the week and twice on Friday Night Magic. All right, we're up to our next creature. This is creature number 17, and it's another colorless edition. We have Soldevi Sentry. It's a 1/1 that we can pay 1 generic mana to regenerate, and if we do, target opponent may draw a card. I can't imagine an opponent would choose not to draw a card, so it's going to be up to this creature's controller to see if it really is worth regenerating. This is a good point to bring up at this time in the video, that not every single creature in the Momir Vig Cube is very helpful or very powerful. All right, back to mono white, we have Soldier of the Pantheon. It's a 2/1 with protection from multicolored, and whenever an opponent casts a multicolored spell, we gain 1 life. Although each creature is randomly summoned from the Momir Vig Cube, there are quite a number of multicolored creatures that could hit our opponent's side of the battlefield. It is possible for us to gain that peripheral life, and let's face it, in a format like Momir Vig, where we only begin with 24 life, that could be the difference between winning and losing. All right, we are down to 2 creatures. Next up is creature number 19, another colorless edition. It is Sparring Construct, a 1/1 artifact creature that when it dies, we put a +1/+1 counter on target creature we control. This helps to further strengthen one of the themes that is present in this Momir Vig Cube, and that is our +1/+1 counter theme. All right, creature number 20, bringing our video to a close today. We have Speaker of the Heavens. We began in mono white, and we're going to end in mono white. It's a 1/1 Vigilant Lifelinker. We can tap it to create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying, but we can only activate this ability if we have at least 7 more life than our starting life total, and we can only do so at any time we could cast a sorcery. So as long as our life total reads at least 31, we can turn the Speaker sideways and create a 4/4 angel creature token with flying, and any creatures that can create other creatures in a format like Momir Vig, they are powerful enough to carry you to victory. And there you have it, MTGBC. 20 more creatures with mana values of 1 going into our cube. Which are your favorites? Let me know in the comment section below. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic.